from another mother, and
Absolutely. Love you, my man.
I love you too.
But I can't come on the show without talking about pizza.
Well,
Right.
we're going to talk about pizza, and we're going to talk about how the St. Margaret's Club originated, how our heritage came about, and with the music and all that good stuff. So we're going to talk about that. But first of all, you're a Mahoneytown man all your life, born and raised, right?
Yes.
Let's talk about your upbringing in Mahoneytown and all the people that kind of mentored you and took you along the way and showed you the way to where you are today.
Boy, that's a good question. But first, I want to compliment Ron on his setup here this evening. It's a very professional studio, very nice equipment, very soothing room, and I think you're doing a great job with everything that you have going on here.
Very nice.
You know, a few things, I can start with about, Mahoneytown was obviously, football. Lindy Lauro was from Mahoneytown. He spent a lot of time there in his adulthood. In addition to Lindy, my first football coach was my brother, Tony, for Pop Warner. And at the time, Steve McCree was married to my cousin Cindy, and he was the other coach. So I started with those two guys, Bull in the Ring, Oklahoma, and then we moved on to, we didn't have a team when I was in seventh grade, and I played for the East Side Rams. Sam Flora Sr., Denny Flora, those were our coaches. Chester Kirkwood was a coach of mine. And then ninth grade, eighth grade, we had eighth and ninth grade played on the same team. Mr. Germansky and Mr. Payne were the coaches of that team. Then, not like it is now, freshmen played on that team, and then high school was sophomore, junior, and senior, and that was Lindy, Ron Plano, Gary Schooley, Franny Lauro, and you couldn't forget all the contributions from Carl Scungio Sr., the chief.
The chief.
Leonard Matarazzo, another big influential guy.
Yes.
And additionally, I know I'm going to forget somebody, and as soon as I walk out of here, I will remember. Sam Flora. He was the athletic trainer with Randy Rayburn, and we always joke about those days. A lot of people don't know I was a manager in seventh grade for Newcastle football. So I was exposed to Mike Hines, Greg Solomon, Freddie Mazzocca, Scott Gaddy, Dave Rubin.
The hitman.
Ronnie Shaw. I played with Ronnie's brother, Bobby.
Westminster.
Joe Carnucci.
Joe.
A lot of good football players
Sure.
that I was able to rub elbows with at a very young age.
Sure.
So, my street in Newcastle, in Mahoneytown, Clayton Street, Andy Tamelio, he was an all-state linebacker. His brother Tommy Tamelio played for Geneva. He tried out for the Steelers. Bobby Lepore, he lived on Clayton Street.
Youngstown State.
In addition to that, Matt Mangino, Westminster guy. Bear Mangino, another. So, growing up, I was exposed to a lot of football, a lot of good people. And then, the flip side of that, everybody had a garden, tomatoes, peppers, onions. Everybody canned, and everybody made pizza.
And you shared it with each other, didn't you?
Absolutely.
And that was like the common denominator was everybody was together, It was tight-knit group. Like, I grew up on the south side, and That's the way it was with us. And then you said Stevie McCree. Stevie McCree lived a block away from me, and you know, he was a heck of a baseball player, And when he would wear his baseball uniform with Newcastle on it, you know, we'd say, "Oh man, look at it, look at Steve," you know. And then he was, as he went through college and whatnot, graduated. He's pretty successful. You know, he works for IBM. He's up in a high upper management, and you know, they never forgot where they came from. Those people, you know, like you said with Bear, you know, look what he did, you know. But you, as well, you know.
Don't do it.
Yeah, no, you.
I didn't come on here to talk about me tonight.
Well, no, we're talking about you. We're going to talk about pizza too, but that's going to be a sidebar. You know,
I want to know who did your hair for that promotion.
Stacey.
No, she
No,
didn't.
she didn't.
She didn't let you.
She told me.
She didn't never let you leave the house like that. Who
That's
did your
right.
hair for the promotion?
I did. I gave it a little flair. You know, I always had that curly hair, but you know, I couldn't tame it down. And Ronnie said, "We got to do a promo." So I said, "We'll do it." But it came out nice.
Was he taking a nap on the couch, Ronnie, when he did that? Would you have to
He
shake
called
him?
me in.
Did you have to shake him 2 or 3 times to get him up for the promo?
It was Father's Day, by the way. How was your Father's
My
Day?
Father's Day was great. I spent it watching Luca play baseball. My
Nice.
youngest son, they had a tournament in Center, PA. They lost both games on Saturday. They got killed in both games, and I figured, well, Sunday morning we'll lose the 3rd game and we'll be done. And they ended up playing all day, and they won the championship.
How
So,
about that?
yeah,
That's
I
beautiful.
didn't get home until about 7 o'clock that night. I stopped at my in-laws, saw my father-in-law. I went home. My mother was there, my brother. So
Nice.
couldn't have been nicer.
Good.
How about you?
It was great. We had a 2-day affair, Saturday, Sunday, grilled at the house. Had some steak, had some chicken, no sauce, no pizza either.
Listen, and not to veer off subject,
Yeah.
but I got a beautiful apron, a red, white, and green apron from your mother,
Yeah.
and I actually put it to good use on Wednesday.
Perfect.
I got the sauce on it, the whole bit. I was making some stuff in the kitchen,
Yeah.
and it was just perfect. And if you're watching, I hope you are. Mary Ann, thank you very much. Beautiful. Another fine job. I was actually going to wear it here tonight, but I didn't want to go too overboard.
Wow. Yeah, you wore some nice stuff out when we used to go clubbing, but I don't think you would be wearing that apron when we went clubbing back in the day, but that's another show. So as you grew up, you talked about growing up in Mahoney Town. You went through Newcastle. You started, what, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade?
I did, and I have to thank one of my good friends for that, Johnny Latouf. Johnny put me on the map. I was defensive tackle.
That's Verizon. Sorry about that. Sorry, audience. Go ahead. Talk about Johnny. This is what happens when you're
on a
live.
Johnny Carson show. Huh?
This is when
His telephone rang.
This is what happens when you're live.
Right.
But anyhow, talked about Johnny. He's a big guy. He was a good athlete, strong kid.
Johnny was the starting right guard. I was starting defensive tackle. And Johnny broke his leg the first game of the year against Boardman.
Wow.
So they put me in at right guard for John, and he was out for a good while. And when Johnny came back, they put Johnny at right tackle. And believe it or not, we played next to each other for 2 years in high school. And then we went on to Westminster. Johnny was a defensive tackle, and they moved him to offense. And I played left guard, and he played left tackle. And he was such a great player, great teammate. We didn't even have to call any of our our schemes, you know, because we played together so much.
You knew what you were going to do.
We knew exactly what we were going to do every play.
That's
So,
awesome. So 4 years at West Mini, huh?
4 years, yes.
And how many years did you start up there?
I was a 4-year letter winner, 3-year starter. I had the fortunate, we played on 2 national runner-up teams and also an undefeated team.
Wow.
Which I think, geez, I'm really gonna, they're gonna have a ceremony, I guess, this fall for our undefeated team in 1992.
That's cool. That's awesome. So you played for Fusco and Nicholson.
Played 1 year for Joe Fusco. Yeah. Joe retired as head coach, and then I played 3 years for Gene Nicholson.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I remember going up when I was in sales, like stopping by, and I saw you and Latouf walking through the field to the practice field. You remember that day?
Yeah. What was
Plains Day.
That you had that blue
Easy.
Z what? What was
you remember
it?
24 Cavalier?
Yeah.
You remember
blue
it?
Z24 Cavalier.
Yeah, I was in sales. Yeah, that was something. And I was always, I met you, you were probably a 10th grader when I met you. And I knew you were a special guy then. I mean, you were always respectful. And we had a little friendship then and carried on through. So at Westminster, I remember when you graduated, I think you went to a Dietrich Industries.
That's right, yeah, I did. I took a job at Dietrich Industries in Warren, Ohio.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that as plain as day. And then you decided to go to law school after you got to put the boots on. You didn't like that too much. So what made that transition from that? What made the click?
Well,
did you want to go to law
you know,
school?
one of the options after I was with the company for a little while, they said, okay, we're either going to send you to California, Florida, or you know, Chicago, which for a young guy that was appealing.
Sure.
And then when I got the call, hey, we're going to send you to Gary, Indiana, and I like, that's not what we talked about. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna. It said, I'm done. I'm gonna go to law school, and I ended up moving to Columbus, and I lived there for 3 years, and it was a good experience. It was a big town. You know, you get to see how the other half of the world lives.
Sure.
And I just didn't want to stay there.
Right.
You know, Ohio was nice, but you know, it wasn't home.
You went to law school, Capital
I went to
University.
law school at Capital University,
Right.
3 years there, and I came back. I took the bar in the summer of '97, and I started working in October of '97.
And that was for Matt, right?
I started working for Matt Mangino. Matt gave me my start, and I worked for him in private practice, and I also worked as an assistant prosecutor for 2 years, and that was a great experience.
I remember that very.
A lot
Very
of pizza.
vivid.
Ate a lot of pizza.
We
back then.
ate a lot of pizza. We ate, what I think it was called the Italian Villa down in Strip District down there. You wouldn't let me leave until we got an 8-cut apiece. And then we ate it up, and
Ate a box of donuts on the way home.
that was a good time. That was a good time. So you graduated from law school. You worked with Matt for a while. You were an assistant DA. And then you decided to go out on your own, or you went with Gabe, I believe, right?
Yes, Gabe Seal and I, we formed our law firm in 2000, and essentially, you know, Gabe retired, and I've been in the same spot ever since. And you know, you blink your eyes, and it's 24 years later. So it really goes fast.
And you got a boy, your son, getting ready to strap it on his senior year.
Yes.
For the Shannick
The
Lancers.
Shannick Lancers.
Yeah.
Exciting season coming up. Really tough schedule. Great new young head coach. So we're going to see what the Lancers are going to be able to do.
That's a little segue. We're going to eat another piece of pizza here. How did you get into coaching? what made you want to get into coaching? And let's talk a little bit about your progression through the coaching ranks as you're doing your law business.
I tinkered around with Pop Warner football. That's what I call it, Pop Warner football.
Right.
I did it for 2 years. I actually didn't have anyone playing the 1 year that I coached. And, every 10 years I tell myself, I'm going to do something else. I'm going to do this or do that. And an opportunity opened up through some unforeseen circumstances at Union, and I was made an offer, and it was, are you going to be paid or are you going to be a volunteer? And I said, well, superintendent, what are you talking about? He says, well, we need an offensive line coach. I said, no, I'm going to be neither one of the. I said, my son plays.
Right.
I can't miss his games. And head coach Kim says, well, you can go to the Neshannock games. I just need you during the week. Wow. I said, well, I have board meetings, a few nights a month. Go to your board meetings. So once again, are you going to be paid or are you going to be a volunteer? And I had one last ditch effort. I said, well, Union plays Neshannock at the end of the year. What am I going to do? They go, we don't play Neshannock at the end of the year. So I said, well, I'll be a volunteer. And then I go back to my office. That occurred in the morning at the school. I go back to my office, and I get a call from Aaron BIONDI, who Aaron and I were classmates at Westminster, teammates. He said, hey, I heard you're going to coach the line this year. I said, yes. He says, well, I'm going to help you. So Aaron and I, it was just like old hat. We did a good job, trying to knock off some of the ring rust from not playing and coaching for a long time. And it was enjoyable. I coached with Aaron and Jay Cole and Kim, Rob Nogay, for 2 years, and it was good. I got to meet a lot of young kids, good kids, work with them, and we were fortunate enough to play for a WPIAL and a state title, and it's something you just don't forget.
That's definitely unforgettable. You had a heck of a run up there. That kid in the ball, I tell you, when he come in there, I could see it. Once you know it and you feel it and you've seen it before, you could smell it. You know what I mean? And he had it. And then when he put you all together, and the kids bought into it, he's had that magical run. And I'll never forget watching you guys at the WPIAL, and you played the first game, 11 o'clock. You guys are ready, and you practiced at 11 o'clock. How smart was that, right? I mean, that's strategy at its finest. And you guys come out there and just knocked them right in the chops. Old school, and it was pretty good. You beat the giant.
Well, the thing about it, sometimes you just know. And when I walked into the locker room and the kids were all sitting in their chairs the first day that I went to practice, and Kim's on the grease board drawing up strategies, I just had like a total flashback of Westminster. I said, this is exactly, what we used to do. We'd have a brief meeting before practice. We'd go over the schemes, the installations, and then we would go out on the field and implement the strategy. And when I saw that for, high school level and some of the things that schemes and different things that we would talk about as coaches, and it just, it becomes second nature. Your instincts just kick in. So
that's awesome. It was certainly a delight to watch. So now you're going to be coaching at Neshannock, right?
yes,
You're going to be coaching your son. That's got to be an awesome thing. Michael Bongiavingo, right? He's the head coach out there now.
yeah. Michael does a fabulous job. He put together a nice staff. A lot of the kids, you know, I coached in junior high, or not junior high, Pop Warner. You know, I'm familiar with them. I know them by name. And they're really working hard. And, you know, I wish them a lot of luck and a lot of, you know, success this season.
That's great. We got a lot of pizza shops out there. You can try different pizzas for the kids, you know. Maybe get some Turcos up there, have it brought up. I'll bring it up for you guys.
Well, listen, the best pizza, and it's not, you know, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about my grandma Virginia's pizza.
Oh, let's talk about
Okay.
it. Let's talk about grandmas.
Right? She would make the dough. The pans were old, beat up, burned, and she would put the sauce on the pizza, put it in the gas oven, and you take the pizza out and cut it, and you could turn it upside down and no sauce would fall off.
Perfect.
Perfect. So when she passed away, my mother started with the same recipe, and she couldn't get it. She couldn't perfect it. She was using these nice, new, shiny pans she couldn't figure out. You turn her pizza over, the tomatoes would fall off, the sauce would fall off, and she was just totally frustrated. So, you know, I came home one afternoon, and there's pizza, and I saw the beat up, dark, greasy pans.
She got them out.
She got them out, and guess what?
Bingo.
She has it down pat. Now, my son Luke is not a big eater. That's the only thing that he'll eat. So
Grandma's
you know,
pizza.
Yeah, Rosie's number one.
Rosie, that's good.
Now the next best pizza recipe is Rosie's, but you'll see different variations. That's the fresh cut tomato pizza. You cut the tomato in slices, put it on there, a little bit of oregano, parsley in the oven. That's a summertime. That's a summertime pizza.
You make it yourself?
Me, no. Far as I will go will be sauce, meatballs, sausage, and maybe a pan of pasta fazool, but that's about it.
I like the pasta and beans. You got my eyes lit up on that one. I guess you guys are having that down at the club
Yes.
tomorrow night, huh?
Yes.
Let's talk about that St. Margaret's Club. How did you get to be into you've got so many irons in the fire, and then all of a sudden, he said, Perry, I think I'm going to go after the St. Margaret. I said, well, okay. How did that all come about, Lou? Tell us a little bit about story about that.
You know, St. Marguerite was founded in 1917.
Wow.
As a social club for Italian immigrants, and it was started via charter and a petition with the local courts. It wasn't, you know, a traditional filing with the Department of State. So a petition was prepared, it was filed with the courts, and the courts approved it as a corporation. You know, subsequently, an employer identification number was issued for it, and there are bylaws. You know, bylaws, a constitution, and it covered a myriad of issues concerning the organization. And the organization kind of went dark a couple years ago. There no activity, and I started to do a little bit of research, and there were some things that were still in play.
Sure.
And for lack of a better term and be, you know, proper about it, I contacted some of the older members that were lifetime members.
Right.
And we petitioned the court, and we asked for permission to reinstate the club.
Wow.
Which we were able to do that. You know, in addition to that, you had to overcome a health license application, liquor license application, and we were able to do that. And I took the role as legal counsel because a lot of the issues dealt with things that, you know, had to be legal. a board was put in place,
Nice.
and the place inside was just totally demolished, for lack of a better term. So, you know, a bunch of individuals got together with some elbow grease, and got everything up and running. You know, Tommy Masters, Corky Masters, Albert Fermati, David Rotuno, Robbie Lutton, Luke Lutton, Jason DiMuccio, Eddie Isabella. We brought in Bear Mangino for some guidance and counsel, Tony PERROTTA,
Nice.
Mike PERROTTA, and, you know, we pretty much took it from the ground up. So one of the biggest things that was important to the ancestors was the celebration of the patron saint.
Perfect.
And St. Margaret's Day is traditionally July 20th. So this year, we're going to promote St. Margaret's Day on July 19th and July 20th. On Friday, 8:30, the Blue Coat Band is going to perform a small concert, and with the help of Nick Mariano and the Mahoneytown Crime Watch, we're going to have the Baby Doll Dance.
Beautiful.
Saturday, the concert's going to start a little bit early, about 7:30, and after the fireworks, or after the concert, we're going to march to Progressive Ball Field, and Sky King Fireworks is going to light off a fireworks display.
That's fantastic.
So currently, the members are putting together a menu. Right now, there's some discussions for French fries, fried dough,
Nice.
pasta fazool, meatball sandwiches, sausage sandwiches, Nina's Italian ice,
No pizza?
and pizza.
All right. Now that's what we're
Okay.
talking about.
And pizza.
All right.
Now, what a lot of people don't know, and we haven't made that public, the club has entered into a corporate partnership with Mangino's Pizza.
Wow, wow, wow. Surprise, surprise.
Mangino's Pizza is obviously catty corner to the club, so
Wow.
there's going to be pizza available on club grounds for the festival.
Good.
Additionally, you know, we've received a lot of assistance with Mangino's Pizza over the course of our tenure. Four Star Pizza has been very generous
Mikey.
to St. Margaret's. Mikey Finera.
Yeah.
Mikey's provided pizza on a number of occasions, wings, different things.
Sure.
And in addition to that, Joe Seminara. Joe has donated quite a bit, pizza, some of his expertise with the food, and we're talking with Joe to get some pre-made dough balls for the fried dough. So, you know, a lot of these things, well, people say, well, you know, so-and-so bought the club. Well, no, you can't buy a club,
Right,
okay? The club is owned by its members,
right,
all right?
right,
It's not a profit-generating activity.
right.
You know, there are employees, but there aren't individuals that are on the board or affiliated. It's not a profit-making activity for the individuals that are involved.
Right.
So, you know, anybody can apply for membership, regular member, social member. We have approximately 300 and some members. I forgot Dave Rotuno. I knew I forgot somebody.
Yeah.
Dave Rotuno, the president.
You can't.
Yeah, El Presidente.
He's on
Sure,
the keys. You can't
sure.
forget him.
My cousin Stefania, I would have never heard the end of it, but I
You
did
remember.
Yes, I did forget
Yeah.
Dave, because Dave was one of the original members that, you know, helped with getting the charter back up and running.
I remember when we were in our younger days, we used to go in the club, and then Coach Laurel would be over there. And then Dave was there, and Mr. Fermati, Albert Fermati, they were all there lined up,
Yeah, yeah.
And it was so nice when I became a member, when you got this thing going again. And I walked in there and I saw everybody. I saw all the old timers, saw your brother, saw your mother. It was nice. It was really nice. Because we used to, back in the day, Leonard used to get the hall all the time for us when we were going to playoff.
Sure, I
run and stuff.
remember that. I remember that.
And we would eat there.
That's right.
And then we would have like
Had
parties.
a few dances after
Dances,
the
you
games.
remember that?
Yes, I was a young kid.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
So, Louis, who's running your kitchen now down there? At
Listen,
St.
the
Mark?
kitchen, the kitchen it's a collective effort.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I didn't mention is the club has initiated a veterans banner program.
Nice.
So we have received donations. We currently submitted photographs and working proofs with Daystar Marketing. And the banners are almost finished. So once we get all those proofs approved, they'll go to print, and then we're going to have to find a way to get them affixed to the telephone poles in Mahoneytown. And I'm not making a play for using any private corporate equipment.
Yeah.
But I know people that can climb poles.
Yeah.
And they do it for a living, so
Yeah,
I
do
might
you?
have to call upon you
think
guys. Your guys might have to use ladders.
Well, we might be able to get a bucket truck or two, maybe. I don't know. We could talk to the management about that.
Sure, sure.
We can always work something out, That's for sure, especially when you're doing public relations work, community service. It's very big. And, your brother, you got the beautiful fire station downtown here. It's gorgeous what you've done to that building. And then right next to you, you got the Oasis. And that's your brother's, right?
I think so.
So tell us a little bit about that. You guys go to lunch there every once in a while? Or
Sure.
Has he got a lunch trade there or dinner?
They do, believe it or not, strombolis, sausage and peppers, pepperoni and cheese, and Friday, fish bites and fish sandwich. So if I'm pressed for time or whatnot, I'll
Yeah.
just call over and
Sure.
we'll order lunch. But that's been about 5 years now that my brother's been there, and
That's good.
it was Harry Annarella was the proprietor prior. And when I would go to work on Saturday mornings early or Sunday mornings, Harry's car would be parked out front, and I would go and knock on the door. Harry would be there with his brother Mickey, and we'd have coffee and talk about when Harry coached at Cardinal Mooney and Slippery Rock and different things. And then Harry was ready to retire, and I put Harry and my brother together, and they were able to work something out, and Tony's been there ever since. And unfortunately, Harry passed away, shortly thereafter. But, Harry was a great neighbor all the years that we were at the fire station. We were neighbors. Never had any problems at all with any of his patrons. He
Yes.
kept the place spotless. He'd pick the papers up in the parking lot, whether it was from his patrons or not. And, it was just a good relationship that we had. So
I remember Harry so well. God rest his soul. He was a good dude. And Mickey Annarella was actually my linebacker coach when I was playing Pop Warner. And he was a friend of our family, too. But I remember Harry always out there with that hose. Hosing that.
water in the cement.
Oh, my gosh. That was the cleanest front downtown. It was.
Water in the cement.
He watered that cement, boy. John the Towel boy, he loved him. that meter must have been going like this.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I do. I
he
miss that. So, it's good to have my brother close by. We look out for one another and different things. So,
Absolutely.
you can't ask for anything, more than that.
Amen. Well, I've been switching gears on you a lot. I'm going to switch another gear. We're going to shift. We talked about Mike Annarella, Westminster Titan. He was one of the good ball players out there. And you're a good ball player, and you're in the Hall of Fame out there in Towering Titans, and you have something to do with that out there. Tell us a little bit about your work with the Towering Titans, and what do you guys promote? And you got to love it, man, because that's where your heart's there,
Joe Fusco, he and I have maintained a relationship over the years since, I left there, and since he, retired, and Joe recruited me, himself, and, Joe put me on the map educationally. Football was never an issue with me, but, Joe stressed the importance of an education and getting good grades and taking your hat off when you're inside the building, opening the door up for others, and we weren't allowed to have any facial hair, believe it or not. You could have I joke, I was just with Joe the other day, and I'd say a neatly trimmed mustache, and that was it. Joe was strict, but he always stressed the importance of the education, and I picked up on it. I got it, and took it to another level. And then when I came back to town, I got involved with the Towering Titans, and I probably was on that board for about 20 years.
Good.
And then I resigned in December of 2023, and I don't have any direct affiliation with the college, so a way to pay it forward, I got the idea from some of my colleagues to start a name, image, and likeness collective for Westminster College, and in January of 2024 we rolled out Tighten Up, Throttle Down, and that's the collective for Westminster football.
Beautiful.
And one of the things, if you don't know anything about a collective, it's legal in Pennsylvania. It's legal with the NCAA. It's permitted. And it gives student athletes the ability to promote their name, image, and likeness for compensation. And one of the ways that they can do it, they can form a collaborative with a nonprofit. They can work, and they can promote themselves.
Could they have a business too?
Excuse me.
Could they go with a business too?
They can promote themselves and receive compensation. The only thing that they're not allowed to do with their name, image, and likeness is to promote alcohol, tobacco, gambling. So one of the things with the collective is Tighten Up, Throttle Down. It takes care of the business aspect. There's a website. You can become a member, make a donation. You can buy Westminster Tighten Up apparel. And I should have brought you a shirt tonight, but I didn't. I didn't.
But this is close, right?
Excuse me.
Is this close?
Yeah, you're right on the money with that.
Well, listen, I'm a Golden Tornado, but we're not going to go there, so go ahead.
So in addition to the website, Clayton Street Sports.
Boy, we're getting good now, Ronnie. This is going good now.
Ronnie's falling asleep over
No,
there.
he's
Wake him up. Ronnie, wake up.
You up, Ronnie?
Clayton Street Sports, it operates the collective. So it educates the kids on contractual issues. Listen, you have to sign a contract. It's year to year, small contract. You have to do X, Y, and Z. You're not allowed to do X, Y, and Z. And for any compensation that you receive, you're going to receive tax documents. So, you got to file taxes on the amount of money that you make. So one of the things that we were able to raise funds for the kids, Tighten Up, Throttle Down, sponsored a golf outing at Tam O'Shanter in May, and they were able to raise significant funds with the help of a bunch of donors, put on a wonderful steak dinner, and got to see a lot of the Westminster alums. So, 6 months into this, you don't always have to measure success with dollars and cents, but it's picking up steam, and we'd like to potentially do an event in the fall or the early winter, maybe a steak dinner with a cigar and bourbon, type
Well, that's a
theme.
good idea. That's a
Sure.
good idea.
Sure.
Sure, that's good. That's good, Louis. Let's switch gears back. I was so pleased when you got me a ticket to come see you being inducted into the Lawrence County Hall of Fame. I'll never forget that. Me and my sister. And you guys, you chose me and her out of all your people, with your people, to be there. And it was beautiful seeing you, because I remember, Louis, you coming up playing. You were rough. You were rough. And when you guys lost at Three Rivers Stadium, when Coach Don Yanessa pulled that little sneaky wide receiver out there, and you guys ended up losing that championship down at Three Rivers. Tell us, do you remember anything about that? Do you remember
Sure.
that sneaky?
I
Tell
can
a little bit
remember
about that.
I can remember everything about that play.
Yep.
Because I played in an all-star game 2 years after that with coaches from Beaver County and players from Beaver County. And basically what it is, there's 10 players on the field,
Right.
all right? Mm-hmm. Now, the players start hooting and hollering and screaming at each other in the offensive huddle
Yep.
to get the attention of the defense, the attention of the officials, and they line up, and the wideout steps off the sideline. Mm-hmm. And if you're not paying attention, streaks down the field, they hit him, touchdown. Now, since then, there have been rules that are implemented that, it's illegal to do that. But
Right.
at that time,
It was fair game.
and we were up in the first half. We were up, I don't know, 13 nothing or whatever the case may be, and they ran that play right before the half, and the momentum just shifted.
Was it deflating, huh?
It's just the momentum shifted
yeah.
and it went in their favor. But one of the things a lot of people don't know, and I don't tell this story too often.
Listen to this.
At Three Rivers Stadium, you were responsible for your own communication from the press box to the field. The headsets and
Right,
the phones.
right,
You were
right.
responsible to take care of that.
Right.
Our staff at the time had Hasbro walkie-talkies, and
No.
they were
Hasbro.
Franny Loro's sons'
Wow.
Hasbro walkie-talkies, and that was the communication equipment from the field to the press box.
Holy smokes.
So at some point during the game, those walkie-talkies started to pick up chatter from the Pittsburgh police,
Oh my God.
the Pittsburgh Bureau of Fire, different things.
Channels.
So
Yeah.
I don't know how well that communication system worked, but that definitely would have been a great commercial to put all this
Wow.
technology on the map. So the play off the sideline with the combination
Of the Hasbro.
of the
walkie-talkie.
Hasbro walkie-talkies, and listen, and the players not performing in the second half,
Right. Right.
that led to our demise. So, that was something that just, it stuck in my craw for over 35 years,
Yeah.
missing out on that opportunity. And then when Union came around and we did what we did there, it kind of just like,
Wipe the slate clean.
it cleared the slate for me. It just,
I remember that picture of you at the end of the game when you smiled. I could see that it was a big relief. That was
Yeah.
nice. I was like,
we go out for the
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
I got sick the night before when I was coaching. I woke up in the middle of the night. I couldn't swallow. I couldn't, I said, oh man. So I was drinking tea, herbal tea at my kitchen table, one glass after another after another. So I go to the locker room to get ready, to get on the bus, and I'm sitting in a chair, and I'm just sweating like profusely. And I looked at your cousin Aaron, and I looked at Medure, and I said, guys, is the heat on in here? What's it? Somebody turn the heat off. They're like,
There's no heat.
bro, there's no heat on. It's freezing in here. So I'm like, uh-oh. So I take a nap on the bus. We're driving a school bus,
yeah.
We're roaring down 79.
Heading to the stadium.
Yeah, I'm sleeping on my backpack, and we get to the stadium. We're like, man, we're at Heinz Field. So we
Right.
go in the locker room. Everybody's doing their routine, and Bishop Canavan, they roll up, and they're looking in the locker room, and they're snickering, and they're laughing, and you could hear a pin drop. And we go out for warm-ups, and I'll never forget this as long as I live. There was a young man standing on their sideline, and he has on one of those Hulk Hogan championship
World Championship belt.
belts.
Yep.
And we're running out of the tunnel, and he's going like this, with the belt. And, right before we go back in the huddle, Kim, he lost his mind. You guys don't want to play. We'll get back on the bus and we'll go home. We'll go home. And we went into the locker room, and it's just like flipping a switch, Third play of the game, we run a ISO. Mark Stanley was at fullback, and he just gets a barrel head of steam and just runs the safety right over, and that set the tone for the game. So, I think a lot of those guys, a lot of good guys, and they just had a lot of will, and they never took no for an answer.
Boy, I tell you what, that just gets me fired up, because when I was watching the game on television, I tell you, the Union Scotties took it right to
Wait a
Canada.
second. Wait. Last time I talked to you about this, you said you were sitting in the front row behind the.
No.
You said you were.
No.
You said you were in the front row.
I was actually holding my grandson.
You were in the front.
I was
row.
holding my grandson. We
No,
were
you're
watching the
right.
plays.
I'm jagging you.
I know
I'm
you are.
jagging you.
First you talk about my hair. Now you're going to talk about me being at the game. Me
Well, I had to
fibbing.
deflect you a little bit because
Oh,
you were honing in. You were teeing me up.
You
were teeing me up.
I've been cutting this pizza so many slices. I've been doing square pieces.
You were teeing me up, so I had to get you off balance a little bit.
Well, you threw me off, but I got it back on. We're going to do the triangle piece again. Why don't you guys do pizza down in St. Margaret's?
You gonna come down and make it?
No, you got somebody out
You
back
gonna
there
come
making.
down and make it?
Listen, I might. I might give it a shot.
I'm trying to get my mother to come out of retirement. I almost got her there.
Well, listen, if Rosie makes it, I'll be there.
I'll
help her.
I almost, one of the things that she's famous for amongst my friends, and she doesn't know it, is the stuffed peppers. Okay, the green pepper with the meat and the rice, and our late great friend, Jeff Staff. He'd call me up on a Thursday, like everything. Hey, did your mother make peppers today? I said, well, the only way we're gonna know is if we go down there and find out.
And
And we would go, and she'd have a big tray on the stove, probably a dozen or so. We'd wipe them out.
that sounds good, Ronnie. Can we get stuffed peppers around here or what?
Cedars actually has it.
Do they?
Wow.
All right, listen, I
Look,
talked enough.
No, you did. I mean, I love talking to you. I loved having you as a guest. I'm so glad you came in. It was really, really nice getting together, talking about you and talking about your career and as a coach, career as an attorney, and your life. and, this is not about pizza, but it's about how you do in life and what you do in life to make it. And you've done pretty well for yourself. We appreciate you for sure. And thanks for coming down.
Listen, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure. You're probably, maybe 3 people are watching tonight. My mother, my mother, your mother, and maybe we're lucky if our wives.
Maybe Stacey
we're lucky if
and Christy
our wife. Well, maybe 4 people are watching tonight.
And maybe Dante. Dante might be watching it. That's a name from past.
Well, thanks, brother. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you
Yep.
coming on.
Absolutely. Good
I
luck
love
with the
you, man.
slice, man.
Thanks.
Love you too. Yep.
Thanks for everybody for watching episode number 4 with Lou PERROTTA, attorney at law. Ronnie, thank you very much for producing a beautiful show. Thank you to Tony Teez for backing us up and providing us sponsorship. And we're going to sign off for tonight. Have a good night, everybody.
Fee 5-4, nothing to a giant, waited my turn, call it perfect time and trust the most high, got the stars aligning, I was tapped in, I've been strategizing, dreams coming true, I've been fantasizing while you criticize, pay attention to the signs, symbolize, feel like a legend, they go idolized, ayy, I'm a hero, wear my cape, independent leader made a way, I'm the people's voice, your purple ray, stuck to my pace, the turtle win the race, the trophies on trophies, views from the townscape, change is great freight, then I had to skate. God told me time to go elevate, chosen child, I'm the champ now, not a featherweight.